talking about Ramadan, obviously Ramadan's a month away. How do you do your training in Ramadan, being Muslim, and then obviously training a high level athlete? How do you balance the training and this spirituality
Like,
in Ramadan?
like in the morning I train, I drink a lot of nighttime, like 4 or 5 liters sometimes I drink. So I don't really want to drink all day. So I train in the morning, I come back home, I sleep, pray, sleep, and I'm recovered by 5 6 p.m. So I have like another like good day. So it's nothing like it's nothing heavy for me. And but many guys train at night time, and I want to give like suggest like help to them. Maybe nighttime you cannot train in Ramadan because you dehydrated through the day, and it's very bad for your bones and stuff. You better either train in the morning, early morning, and then you recover while you hydrated, and or you don't train at night. I'm heavy.
Okay,
So
that's
this like
interesting. Yeah, because I've spoken to a few other fighters. A lot of them train like in the nighttime, so like right before like Sahri or like yeah. So it's quite interesting that you
it's
said that.
wrong,
So
it's
pardon?
wrong because
Yeah.
like I wouldn't say this on podcast, but if your wee is white, then you hydrated. But if your
Yeah.
wee yellow at nighttime, for example, like especially at end of the day, you
Yeah.
cannot train when it's yellow because it's dehydrated and you're bad for your kidneys, bad for your knees, ankles, shoulders, everything. Is this is not easy sport. This is not like horse riding.
Yeah, you heard it, people, man. Look at the color of your wee, yeah? And Ramadan's coming close now. You've been boxing for years. So how have you adapted your training during Ramadan? Like, how do you adapt it?
Well, normally during Ramadan, I train obviously, but I train in like after Iftar and after prayers and everything. So I'm training in the mid hours, early morning, just before you close your fast. And yeah, man, it's been all right. But I've only ever been in camp once, and what I had to do was I fasted the first half, then the second half I caught up with it after Ramadan was over because I was in camp. But to be fair, it's not really an issue. It's more time management, isn't it? If you think about it, it's more time management. Obviously, if you're eating the right foods and everything, it's not really an issue as long as you replenish yourself properly, like via nutrition. Obviously, I've got a nutritionist, pro nutrition clinic who helps me and everything, and it's not really an issue. It's not really that deep, to be honest with you. So with me, I just crack on with it, man. I just obviously, like I said, I change the training hours, and if I'm in camp, I catch up with it afterwards.
All right. So yeah, the reason I asked that for the last few fighters is because just to see how if everyone's like kind of training the same or everyone's got their own different regime in Ramadan.
Yeah.
So you're essentially training before Iftari and
No, after.
or after you train after. All right.
Yeah, I've tried training before, but I've got no energy, man. I've got no fuel in me, and I'm better off not training. So I train after.
Yeah, the last interview I had was with a guy named Muhammad Mokaev. I don't know if you heard of him.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So he goes in Ramadan, like he goes, you should look at the color of your wee, and you know when's the right time to train. Like if it's yellow, you're hydrated. If it's clear, then you know what. He goes, it's better to train. He was saysaying early morning, like after 7.
Well, I credit to him, bro. I've tried it, but it just don't work for me, bro.
Because he goes, you're hydrated and things like that. Like straight after Iftari, your body's still kind of processing everything, right? So you train after Iftari or like after Tarawih?
After Tarawih. When I say straight after, obviously I'm eating, then I pray my Tarawih. Then by the time that's all done, your food's obviously digested and like you said, you're hydrated. So that's the perfect, like early hours in the morning, isn't it? What is it, like 12, 1-ish?
Yeah. So all right, so that's interesting. There's a big month for Muslims, so Ramadan. So I'd like to ask you, like I've asked these for the last few fighters. How do you do your training in Ramadan? Because you've been training for like years now. How do you kind of balance your training in Ramadan?
So basically, it depends. If I've got a fight coming up, I will just carry on as normal. And I'll just like adjust the timings a bit. Maybe the run that I do in the morning, I'll do that at night instead of the rest striking and grappling, I'll do the normal times. But if I've not got a fight coming up, I just take over. I'll do one session in the afternoonish and one at night. Do you understand? So right now, because I've got a fight coming up in June, hopefully, I'm going to be going. I've started already. Is it like the camp? So
yeah,
we're going straight in. To be honest with you, I like to get up as normal. Yeah.
So if so in Ramadan, obviously you got camp. You're training in the day.
Yeah, I'll be training in the day. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy, man. I don't know how you're doing it, but
No, it's hard. It is hard. But, it is hard, but you know what it is though. You know, as Muslims, there's no excuse in it. They used to, the history. If you go back in history, they used to do much more tougher things than us, bro.
Yeah.
Training for an hour and a half is nothing compared to what they done. They were going through battles and also. This is what I said before in another interview. So when people be like, "Oh, how do you train?" It's like, bro, that's normal.
Yeah.
You have to, bro.
I mean,
right now we're young. Allah's blessed us with His help, so we got to use it. Do you understand?
Yeah.
When we're old, then yeah, that's different. But right now, bro, it's fine. We've got to push through that. That's what Ramadan's about. If it was easy, you understand? Like it will get easier, but it's fine. It's cool.
Yeah, because I mean, I've done training in Ramadan, but mainly before iftari. But in the day, man, I don't know, man. You end up with you're kind of like doing a night shift. Are you kind of doing a night shift? You wake after Saturday, you go bed, and then you kind of wake up and then
carry on as normal.
You're training after iftari as well, like before after Tarawih?
Yeah, that training session will most likely be a run or some sort of conditioning with my coach.
Okay. So the MMA training
will be done in the morning and the evening. The grappling and striking that I do.
Okay. There's a special month coming up, Ramadan. How do you generally train in Ramadan? Like, what's your kind of training regime in Ramadan? How do you can you give any advice for people that want to train in Ramadan? How do you balance it?
Yeah, so normally it depends. Some days we'll train. If we train before our fast opens, it'll be like we'll have a light session, not too hard, obviously, because we've been fasting. Or other times we'll train, after Tarawih, after the night prayer.
Yeah.
Then because we got food in us, we can train a bit harder, but we don't tend to really train for like over an hour max, even less than that. So, but we'll always train, because you can't stop training in that month, and it's good, especially because you got the full night, you pray, then you don't want to go sleep because you're gonna be closing your fast again. So we normally train if we train after Tarawih, we'll train hard, but if we train before the fast open, just like a light session.
Okay, that's interesting because Bilal Muhammad done a training camp in Ramadan '94. I don't know how he. Yeah,
when I went to the IMAFs, my training camp was in Ramadan.
Really? How was that training?
It was hard because I used to train twice a day. I used to train before the fast opens and then after Tarawih as well. So looking back at it, it's like now, but Alhamdulillah, Allah helped. But
yeah, man,
it's a good experience.
Yeah. Did you win that?
Yeah.
There you go, man.
Yeah. So, but my weight was good. That's the main thing. Like I was 66 on the spot for like 5-6 days.
Okay. Wow. So because when I interviewed Mohammed Mokaev, he was saying that training in the nights not the best thing in Ramadan. Like he was saying in the daytime, I was like,
yeah, everyone's different, but like if you haven't got any food in you can't really train hard, when you during the day. But it's whatever everyone, as long as you're training, that's the main thing.
Okay.
But so we'll switch it. Maybe one day we'll train light before our fast opens, and then the next day we'll train hard after Tarawih.
Okay. So
we'll just mix it.
Are you training once a day then in Ramadan, and then you just kind of
once, sometimes twice, but we just alternate.
Okay, well, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like you're focusing more on obviously your salah and like your spirituality.
That's the main thing. That month, like everything else is second. Yeah. So you just wanna we focus more on that.
How do you do training in Ramadan? Because I heard Bilal Muhammad does something like crazy where he's training like he's on a camp in Ramadan.
Yeah, I train like my morning session that I would usually do. I do it in the middle of the night, and my evening session stays the same. So my evening training is usually from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. and I'll have like a 2-minute break. I'll go quickly drink water, have a date during my training, and then I'll go home. After praying, I'll have my actual meal like 2 hours after iftar time.
Oh, wow.
But I'll have like dates and my electrolytes during that time. And then I'll start training like at 3 a.m. my hard training again, which is usually my morning strength and conditioning. I'll do that at 3 a.m.
So
But
right
it
before.
doesn't sound like, don't make it sound freaky, like, oh, so you sleep 2 hours and you wake up in the middle of the night. No,
No, no, no.
I change my whole life around
Yeah, yeah.
Ramadan and training for Ramadan. So
Kind of
I'll
doing a night
sleep
shift.
after I pray Fajr. I'll sleep after I pray Fajr, and I'll wake up at Dhuhr, and I'll be awake until Fajr again.
So you kind of do like a night shift, don't you? Yeah, that's all of us.
Yeah. Like, I sleep at 6 a.m. I sleep at
Yeah.
6 a.m. and I wake up at 1 p.m.
Yeah, yeah.
Or I sleep at 5, wake up at 1, depending on what Fajr and Dhuhr is. But yeah, I still get my hours of sleep. I wake up, maybe train some clients, or get whatever errands need to be done. And then train, have iftar, pray, train some more.
Speaking about Ramadan, I don't know if you know this, but another fighter in the UFC, a Palestinian fighter, Bilal Muhammad, he actually does a training camp in Ramadan. So I don't know how he balances that, but you're obviously professional fighter yourself, you're Muslim. How do you balance training in Ramadan? Do you take time off, or do you actually be training quite intensely? Or
I actually discussed this with my coaches, so I will be training in Ramadan. As you know, it's been like more one-to-one kind of basis training anyways at the moment. So we will be doing it, but we're kind of going to meet the time frame. So possibly before, iftar, probably get it done before iftar, and then probably do a bit of cardio work just before sehri. So I'm going to try keeping active, and then probably towards like the midday, just kind of like, get on with like just stretching, just, really light drills, but keep it very, just keep active, but just keep it very minimum. Don't, obviously try killing the body, because the main thing is we want to focus on Ramadan, but also obviously I am going to keep active with training, but just keep it at a nice balance.
yeah, I think that's what a lot of people don't get, like how difficult it is as well, because obviously people think it's just a water fast where we drink water and that would make it really easy, but we do dry fasting essentially, so we're not drinking any water, any consuming any food. But I think that's interesting, like you're still going to be doing your training, because
definitely.
I believe even like Habib, or I think he takes time off as well, like with in Ramadan, just to focus on.
Yeah, definitely. The aim is going to be to focus on Ramadan, and purely that's what we're going to focus on. But obviously, I'm going to keep active just because I just get a good feeling now. Obviously, with the situation in UK, hopefully I'll be getting a call up. I think my time's coming very close now. So I think Ramadan I'm going to keep active, but my main aim in Ramadan is going to be is just cleanse the body, and just eat well, and bring that weight down, and then hopefully after Ramadan we can just start training. We'll be at a good weight, and just hopefully look ahead and hopefully get a fight coming on.